In the Amathole East District in the Eastern Cape are crying foul as they haven't been allocated budget in the 2018-2019 financial year.
The parents are saying this was brought to their attention after a resource target table was issued in April by the department. According to the RTT, these schools are not functional and have been merged, but parents are refuting these allegations. This has led to the schools being dysfunctional as services such as scholar transport, scholar nutrition program and teacher allocations are affected by the impasse. Our reporter Busisiwe Jemsana-Mantashe is on the story.
These schools are based in the rural parts of the province in Willowvale and Dutwa, where many of the households are poor and the kids they are relying on the school nutrition on their day-to-day basis when they are in schools. They're saying that they identified the problem in April when the budget allocation was not sent to the schools. These are the schools that were earmarked for the rationalization program of the department because they were identified as non-viable schools having low numbers of learners that are studying in those schools, and there was to be a process of merging those schools to become one and shutting down some of those schools. We spoke to the principals and the parents that are currently inside here at the Ngadu Great Place waiting for Ikumkani Yamaklosa with hopes of finding solutions for these problems. They are saying that they were still waiting for a process where the department would embark on public hearings to educate and to talk to communities about the challenges that these schools are facing and the process of actually merging these schools. They're saying that upon waiting for that, they learned that they were not allocated money in the 2018-2019 financial year. But to talk to us about that a bit more, I'm joined by Utata Busisiwe Jemsana-Mantashe, who's the principal of one of the schools, who's now the chairperson of what they term as the crisis committee. How did it come about that you never got your allocation since April up until now? You were saying that these schools were declared as closed. And is the department aware that the schools are functional?
Good afternoon, Busi and viewers. Indeed, the department is 100% aware that the schools are operational. After we discovered that our schools were not allocated money, we immediately communicated with the department to say we didn't get money, the reason needs to be explained by the department. In fact, they realized that the mistake was done. Those schools verified the numbers, verified the availability of children, verified the statistics, everything, that the schools are indeed operational. We don't know why at this point in time we're still talking about schools not having money. I think it's the only department that can answer that words.
And you were saying that after this verification, after you sent documents to the department to actually say these schools are functional, monies were deposited to the schools, but to the wrong bank accounts. Tell us about that.
In fact, we know nothing about the money that was deposited to the schools. What we only saw is a spreadsheet, which we also don't know what source, which source did that spreadsheet come from. But when we looked at that document, we found the names of the schools, all the affected schools there, with the money allocated, money deposited on the 17th. But when we look at the banking details, they were all wrong. Even the banking institutions, they were all wrong. So we don't know what informed that document. Whereas on the 31st of July, we had a meeting at the provincial office where we were requested to submit, verify banking details and numbers. You see, comparing with the ones that were there at the department that day. Immediately the following day, we emailed everything to Miss Miss Biko, of course, sorry, to Miss Biko. We emailed all the relevant documents, including the bank accounts that showed that the schools have bank accounts that are not dormant. So we don't have confidence on the statement that the school accounts are not there, because on that last meeting we submitted everything that was verifying information. So that document that showed the wrong accounts, we don't know which source did it come from.
All right, and how is this impacting on the teaching and learning in your schools?
As we know that this nutrition program is the program that made the schools to be viable, because before learners did not attend school, but after this program, schools learners attended schools. So immediately this happened. It's been 5 months now. This is a dire situation. Learners are not concentrating well at school. We even decided as community, the community decided to request for the cutting of schooling hours. As we know that it's 7 hours. The schools decided to cut the hours into 6 hours. As a result, that is going to have indeed a negative impact in terms of teaching and learning, of course.
Mr. Mantashe, thank you so much for your time. We're going to have to leave it there, and hopefully you get the answers that you are looking for. They are indeed meeting the king of Amathole, King Zwelonke, today to talk about their challenges, and hopefully they are hoping that he'll be able to intervene in the matter and provide solutions, an urgent solution. We did speak to the education department in the province. The department is saying that they are done with documentation, and they have approached the National Treasury to say that there's an urgent matter and they need allocation to the schools to actually deposit the monies that are needed to make the schools to actually continue with their day-to-day business and be operational. As this has affected not only the nutrition program, but also the maintaining of the school, the maintenance side of these schools. We await to see then. In fact, the department was saying that they are waiting for the Treasury to actually tell them if they have accepted their urgent application to make a run and actually deposit these monies before the date that it's supposed to be deposited. But they did say that the monies that were deposited to the wrong bank accounts have returned to the department, and now they await. And as soon as Treasury gives the go-ahead for them to deposit these monies will be deposited to the schools that are in need of the money, and they will continue with their program of trying to actually solve the bigger challenge, the root cause of this, the non-viable schools in the province, or the 35 schools that have been identified as non-viable. But for now, it is back to you in studio.